When a millionaire nearly runs out of money, he doesn't give up. He doesn't just sit back and watch his empire crumble. For me, that means picking up the tools again. You can take away the wealth, but you can never take away the drive to revive. Hello everybody and welcome back to My Garage Revivals. Alright, so we are on our way back to the shop this morning. Quickly went to Hugo's house this morning to pick up the engine for our 79 Firebird. So I'll show you guys exactly what we got. And yeah, we just paid a little over 10,000 for it. Hugo was actually asking for a little bit more money. But yeah, we actually struck quite a good deal with him. Alright, so let's just pull over here. So I wanted to show you guys there's been some developments at the little shop here across the road from us. So they definitely finished putting up the fence and everything. So I think the place is basically fully kitted now. We might have to come and take a walk around there again at some point and see when they are going to open. Because I think it'll be a nice little touch for us if we could actually take our Pontiac Firebird over there for some dyno tuning before we actually take it over to the drag strip to give it a little bit of a test on the drag strip, obviously. Alright, but here we are. We're just going to pull into our normal parking spot over here. So there we go. Alright, I think that should do. Alright, so let's hop out, and yeah, this is as you can see, the crate has been marked quite well. It's a 380 cubic inch. That is the color code of the engine, which is a green. So we might actually stick with the green engine. Let's just put it down over here for a second. So yeah, apparently Hugo says this engine makes 629 horsepower as it sits here. But obviously it's, as you can tell by the size of the crate, it's not really a supercharged engine like I originally wanted for the car. But I guess we could always supercharge it afterwards. Maybe get a bolt-on supercharger kit for this thing and just convert it into a supercharged engine. Alright, so just gonna bring this a bit closer. We might get to installing this engine today, which will be great, because I'm actually a little bit curious to see how it's going to look in our engine bay, even though the car is still in quite a bit of a terrible shape. So you may have noticed I've did a little bit of work, not really too much. We replaced the torsion bar on that side, and we also got some new leaf springs for the rear, which are the lifted ones. I think it's going to give this car a little bit of a meaner stance, and obviously I mounted the drag tires at the back, so I actually think it looks pretty good just the way it is. It's just obviously we're going to try and take care of the rust, and then as for the color of the car, I'll still decide on that. I did get a couple of good comments about the color for the Ford Focus, and I actually have got a pretty good idea what color we're going to be painting that car, so you guys will just have to stay tuned and be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications for the next episode. So obviously we are going to sort out the Focus's rear suspension today, so I've got all the parts we need for this, hopefully. Obviously we've got some spare parts laying around as well, so we're going to try and get this thing put together again today. But the main priority will be our customer vehicle over here, Brian's 1978 Plymouth Fury, which as you can see, I've got all of the parts we need. They are just sort of laid down on the ground for now, because I decided we're just going to start with this and pick them up straight off the ground and just put it together. So let's jump into this and just start getting this put back together over here. So there's our new wheel hub carrier, and we've also got some new hubs for the front. Alright, and then we're going to need a screwdriver for those brake discs, so let's just grab one over here. Alright, we're going to just zip that down, and we've got some new brake calipers, new brake pads, new brake hoses. I decided to just go ahead and replace everything, and that way we know everything is as good as it's going to get for this car. Come on, there's supposed to be another bolt here on this caliper. There it is. Okay, perfect. And we also need to get this shock absorber mounted over here. Alright, and then obviously we are going to be painting the car, so we're just going to mount these old wheels that we've got on the car rather, so that we can actually not worry about those getting paint on them. Alright, let's continue on the next corner here. We're going to get our new wheel hub installed. Alright, and brake disc. I think this is still the old brake discs, most of them. I think I did order one brand new brake disc for the passenger side front, because that one was a little bit tired. Okay, now we can get this wheel back on. Alright, there we go. And over to the next one. Alright, on this corner we just need to get the brake disc back on. Alright, let's get the caliper back on as well. Alright, and bolt it down. And there's the hose. Okay, so that corner is basically sorted. Let's just get this wheel on as well. Alright, just like that. And we'll go over to this side. Alright, so over here we've got a brand new brake disc. We've got a new tie rod as well. I think this corner was probably the one with the most worn parts on the car, so we'll just make sure everything is bolted nice and snug under here. Got our new wheel hub as well, a brand new brake disc, and I will just bolt that down or screw it down to get the caliper on here. Okay, and let's just zip this down. Alright, and then we can get the last wheel on, and we'll just bolt it down properly, and there we go. Right, so just like that, Brian's car is basically mobile again. So we sorted out everything that I would like to have done to the suspension. It really wasn't much, but at least now we know everything is sorted. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to get the lift arms out from under the car. We're going to see if we can pull it maybe into the body shop, because we are going to start tearing down the trim pieces on this car, stripping all the headlights, the grille, and all of the bumpers and stuff off like that, so that we can actually start prepping this thing for paint. We need to push it a little bit more. Alright, and then we're gonna see if we can move this back. Alright, let's just see if this thing actually wants to fire up still. There we go, right on the money. And yeah, I still can't get over this sound this engine makes. It actually sounds pretty mean. Yeah, it's got quite a bit of pep. Alright, let's just pull it into here. We'll just do a proper nosedive into the shop like this. And there we go. Alright, so this car is going to be stripped down so that we can get rid of the rust and obviously get this thing ready for its primer. I've got no idea what happened to this door. It's got a different shade of pink. So this car is like a very subtle pink. We're going to be painting this thing the same color as the engine, that blue over there. So yeah, it's going to be quite a bit of a transformation for this car. But I think now, before we tear into that car, I really want to see if we can get our Ford Focus put back together. Okay, so here we are in the suspension shop. And I'm quite certain we're also going to need our screwdriver again anyway. So let's just bring all of this closer. And yeah, we are going to need the pry tool as well, because I am going to be replacing the brake discs or the brake pads at the front and the rear. So I've got a set of new brake pads for the front and obviously the ones for the rear. So I think let's first of all get everything else installed here. So we've got our new half axle, which was quite a bit of a mission to get this thing off, but I managed to get it removed eventually. Alright, the visibility isn't the best under here, but there we go. I think that is good. We've got all those bolts sorted. Alright, and then we've got our new steering hub carrier. That's what it's called. Alright, so I just got to make sure we bolt down everything under here, because there's quite a bit of things to bolt down. All these little control arms and stuff. So let's just see. I think I might actually have all of them now. Yeah, okay, so it looks like all of them are on there. Let me just have a better look at this. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that is good because we needed to replace 2 on the opposite side as well. Okay, so the first one, I believe, goes over here. Okay, and then which bolt is the one for the upper side for that? Okay, so that is tightened down. Okay, so it's the upper one over there. Okay, so we've got that one, and then we've got a last arm we need to get mounted. Let me just see exactly where it goes up there. And then there should be a bolt we can reach a bit easier at the top here. Right over there, okay. And then let's get our wheel hub and also the brake disc installed, which I actually never checked the brake discs on this car. You know what, I'm not going to bother too much with it because it still looks visually decent. So we are just going to pop out these brake pads here. Okay, the brake calipers and hoses are still good as well. I already checked those a bit off camera. Alright, let's get these popped into there. Alright, brand new brake pads. And let's get this caliper back on here. Okay, there we go. That's the 1, 2, 3. Okay, and let's do the other one. Right, zip that down. Alright, and these 2 bolts, and I think that is sorted. So I did go ahead and replace the handbrake cable as well. It was also looking a little bit shot. So we've got a brand new handbrake cable installed already, and I bolted it down already, so everything is looking pretty good. Alright, let's just get our wheels back on. So we're just gonna stick with the steelies for now, because we are obviously going to send this thing over to the paint booth once we get the rust removed off of this as well. Oh, come on, there we go. Alright, just get that back onto there. Perfect. So now I think this car is kind of sorted mechanically. I don't think there's any issues really. We need just to probably do those front brake pads. I can't think why I would put the wrench back now. We are not done yet. Okay, so let's quickly come over here. We're just going to pop off these hubcaps. Alright, I think we'll just do one side at a time. Alright, and let's get the caliper off first. Okay, and undo that. Right, so this is the first one. Let's quickly pop these brake pads out of here. Okay. Alright, so there we go. That is the one. Okay, pop these in. Okay, let's get this back on. Alright, perfect. Let's finish up this corner. Alright, we'll just put this back on because we actually do have it here. Alright, and then over to this side. Pop off the hubcap. And we'll just get this wheel off of here. Perfect, and now we can get this last brake caliper removed. Okay, let's just get under here. Okay, and there we go. Alright, let's get the brake pads out of this one. Alright, these doesn't look too bad, but yeah, it's just better to rather replace all of them. Okay, pop that into there and over there. And there we go. Alright, let's get this caliper back on here as well. Alright, and just bolt it down. And let's get our last wheel back on. And we'll just pop on this old hubcap for now. So yes, we are going to get some new wheels and tires for this car, and we're going to see what wheel spaces we're going to need. Alright, so I think we are done here for now. So let's get all of these tools back in the toolbox. Alright, I will come and clean up this a little bit later on. Okay, so there we go. All right, let's get this thing back down on the ground. So I did adjust the coil springs up all the way as far as they would go because we were having a bit of trouble getting over this little hump over here. So it's definitely not the best lowering a car and trying to drive it up on a little incline like this. All right, let me just push it back a smidge. All right, we can go back a little bit more. All right, that door should open. All right, and now let's see if we can turn the key. All right, still fires up, no problem. Looks like we did a kind of decent job on the engine. Seems to be running quite nice, actually. All right, so for now, we're just going to park this next to the pickup truck. Don't want to put it in the body shop just yet. We are going to be stripping the Plymouth Fury first. So I don't want this to be in the way. Alright, perfect. We'll just leave it here for now. At least we know it's mobile, and I could actually start driving this thing back to the house, although I might have to sort out the license plates because I still haven't taken off the old license plate there. Alright, so now we are basically done at the suspension shop, so I'll catch up to you guys once I've closed up here and we are back in the body shop. Alrighty, so let's see what it's going to take getting this car ready for sandblasting. So I'm not too sure how these things come off of these cars. I've never really worked on one of these, but I think obviously some of the trim will just pop off. Okay, so yeah, we don't really have a proper place to put this, so let's just make a pile of parts over there somewhere, I guess. Alright, and let's see what else can come off. We've got... Alright, so yeah, we do have got quite a few different pieces of trim on this car. It's going to be something that we're going to either be able to reuse or we might replace some of these. Alright, so yeah, there's quite a few pieces of trim. So let me just get cracking with this. Make sure we get all of this trim pieces off. And then we'll see what else we need to do and what other tools we're going to need to get the rest of the stuff off of this car. Because my goodness, there's quite a bit of trim pieces here. Alright, so as I'm taking these trim pieces off, I can actually see we've got a bunch of stuff that is actually quite worn. It still looks to be good, but you could clearly see like these little side lights, they are quite worn actually. So yeah, I hope we can be able to find some decent parts to replace them with, because yeah, these are actually quite badly worn. Let's also pop off this little antenna. See like that, it still seems like it's good, but it's definitely seen a bit of wear. Alright, we can also pop out these door handles. We actually should put it over there because I don't want to mix up those parts, because those are some of the Pontiac Firebird's parts. Alright, door handles. Yeah, this car has got a lot of chrome work and little emblems and stuff everywhere. This actually doesn't look too bad. Alright, a little rocket trim. Alright, so yeah, some of these pieces of trim are a little bit weird, so we'll just see if we can rather replace them. Alright, let's pop off this one as well. Alright, now I'm sort of just putting this stuff anyway. Just trying to get it off the car because there is just so many pieces of trim on this car. Alright, I'll definitely look through all of these parts and see what is going to be usable, what we're going to have to definitely replace. No wheel arch trims that I noticed. Okay, so that is pretty good. Alright, and let's get this off as well. Alright, so that I think looks like it's most of the trim. Oh, wait a second, there's some more back here. Some extra bumper chrome. Let's see if there's over on this side. Yeah, there's another one over on this side. Alright, my goodness, this car has got a load of trim. Right, bumper guards or bumper guards. Okay. Don't really know if all of these things are really necessary. I suppose it's on the cars, so that is just the I would call it, that's just the 70s way of doing stuff like this. I don't know if this is going to come off. Doesn't look like the emblem wants to come off. Okay, so we'll just leave that on there for now. The taillights, yeah, they just pry out as well. Alright, let's put the taillights over there so we can have a look at these and maybe replace the bulbs as well in them. Okay, so that is the bumper. Needs to be unbolted probably. Okay, so let's pop out the rear glass. Okay, so let's put all the glass over on this side. Okay, because there's going to be quite a few pieces of glass on this car as well. Right, we'll just put that down on top of there for now. Right, passenger side door. Okay, my goodness, yeah, this car's got probably the most trim so far. Even missed no, looks like I've got it. Okay. Right, let's put this on the table actually. It should be easier for us to find it on the table again. Okay. There we go. And now, last but not least, let's pop out this windshield. My goodness, yeah, this car's got way too many chrome pieces and trim pieces. It's yeah, almost sort of unnecessary in my opinion, but okay. Alright, let's see. Around the front we have got bumper guards, obviously that needs to come out. Blinkers. Yeah, the blinkers also pop out. A lot of parts that actually just pop in. Okay, and we've got the grill. My goodness, that is a whole lot of trim. Is that it now, or is there still something else we need to take off with the pry tool? Maybe on the interior. No, it looks like the windshield, the rear view mirror is actually holding in the headliner, which is actually kind of normal. So we're going to need a screwdriver by the looks of it for that. Alright, let's see. Alright, so 2 screws on the rear view mirror, which is kind of normal. Alright, let's put the rear view mirror over on this side by the taillights. And let's see. Yeah, there's the headliner. Okay, the headliner doesn't look too bad. Could probably still reuse that. Door cards. How do these come off? They also have got screws. Okay, so we've got our screwdriver. Okay, looks like there's a couple more screws. Alright, that panel looks a little bit shot. Alright, so once again, it looks like these are 2 pieces. That is gone. Alright, so this one. This is the 1 piece, and then we'll get the lower piece off as here as well. Alright, come on. There we go. That's the lower piece. My goodness, yeah, this door was painted quite half actually. Alright, let's go around this side. Let's get this door panel off this side as well. This upper one looks to be a little bit more worn. Okay. And where's this screw on this one? Okay, so there's a screw. And there's a screw. Okay, so that is quite weird. Okay, but there we go. So that is off as well. Alright, and there's definitely some more worn parts over here on this side. And these screws are so tiny. Right, upper part. And there goes the last bit, lower part. Alright, now it's going to be a matter of figuring out how this dash clip or the dash pad comes off. I'm not too sure if it's just going to be the 2 screws on that. It looks like it. Right, so the dash pad, we need to find a new one, or the upper dash. Okay, let's have a look at this lower part of the dash. Just see if there's another screw here somewhere. We gotta find it. It should be here somewhere. There it is. Okay, and that is the dashboard out of the car. Alright, yeah. So looking at the interior on this car, we can see there's definitely a lot of wear. So I'll see. Maybe we can find him a brand new interior for this car. Although I'm not sure how easily available they are. But I guess we will figure that out. Alright, let's see if that seat's gonna come out. Right, the rear seat actually looks fairly decent still. Right, and obviously the front has got a bench seat. Now I don't know if our single seat is going to work in this car as a temporary seat. It might actually not, so we might need to leave this in. So yeah, I think let's not mess around with that. We do have got the ignition in the steering column. Okay, so that is good. So the car is still actually mobile in its current state. Let's see if we can get this rear bumper removed. Okay, all these carriage bolts. Alright, there's a little insert here that I see we can also remove. Looks like it's got some screws in it. Let's have a look and see if we can get those unscrewed. Are those screws? No, those are little bolts. Okay. Well, let's see what happens if we unbolt them. Okay. Alright, so very interesting. So there were actually two of these mounted to this. Well, what do you know? Looks like somebody had a little bit of a, yeah, messing around with the rear bumper here. Right, let's just undo that again. Here we go. Okay, well, I never would have thought that there would be two of those pieces under that, but okay. Now, as for these emblems on the trunk, I don't know if they can actually come off. So let's get the trunk maybe unbolted quickly. I just want to see how those are actually going to come off. Maybe they've got screws attached to them. I don't know. It doesn't look like it. Maybe now we can get it pried off with the pry tool maybe. Nope. Still not. So, well, it looks like they are stuck on there. So it just means our work in the paint booth is going to be a little bit more. We're going to have to try and spray paint around those, which is not a big problem for us. Alright, so with that stripped off, I think the only part we still need to take off is this front bumper. Let's just see which bolts we need to undo over here. So hopefully just the 4 of these. And there it is. Okay, so that is perfect. So now that we've got all the chrome bits off as far as we can get them off, we are ready to start tackling some rust. So I think what I'm going to try today is, seeing as we don't have bags of sand for the sandblaster available, because I actually forgot to go and pick up some, we are going to just try the angle grinder. Now I did have a polishing wheel somewhere over here. There it is. Okay. Gonna see how this is gonna go with the angle grinder. If I struggle too much, I think we're just gonna hop in the pickup truck and go and pick up some bags of sand. So let's just give this a little bit of a wing. It hasn't been it's been a while since I actually used the angle grinder, so let's just go back to the more primitive way of doing this. I think actually the angle grinder does just the goodest job if you are able to get into these nooks and crannies everywhere. Alright, we'll go a little bit further than where the rust shows, just to make sure we get all of the rust even below the paint. That still looks good. Alright, let's just check. Whoops. Okay, can we get in here. Yeah, looks like we've got all the rust off of that rocker panel on that side. Okay, let's come over here. Let's get that grinded off a bit over there. Got some over there. And obviously just a little bit over here. That looks like it's sorted. Alright, so next up is this front valance part. I don't really know if it's considered a valance. It's more like a chrome, or the way the grill goes in. So it's probably like a front panel. Oh, that is actually coming off not too bad. Alright, well. Okay, so that is going quite swimmingly, as they would say. We've got a tiny bit of rust on this edge here. But I think this is actually part of the fender now. We are starting to work on. So I don't know. Can't really tell where this splits. That is quite interesting. It looks like this whole front part of the car is actually one piece. But I might be wrong. Alright, let's just pop the hood. Because I think there's some rust we need to address over here as well. Alright, just here on the edge of the fender. Alright, looks like we've got that rust off there. Got a tiny little bit of rust over here. Yeah, there's a tiny little speck down there. Alright, we'll just grind it over a little bit further than where the rust was. And this is the final little patch over here. Well, not really the final little patch. We've got a little bit more up there. But okay, we are getting there. Just grind it a little bit further than what is actually going. Alright, let's get that rust taken off there. And now, just going to grind this little bit here by the A-pillar. Alrighty, so there we go. That is looking pretty good. I don't see any more rust on this car now. It actually almost looks as if we are ready for paint. Yeah, that actually did the job, guys. I think all of the rust is now off of this car, which is actually a very good sign. So I think we are basically done as far as I'm going to go with this car for today. In the next episode, we're going to try and see if we can get this thing painted up, so that we can actually get it into the body shop again for the assembly. I'm going to try and see if I can order all of the chrome parts and stuff that we really need for this car. I am going to take out the bench seat and the steering column and just go through that as well. Might as well do the pedals as well while we are at it, as well as the gear stick. But I think this car is basically ready for paint. We might have to do a little bit of primer work beforehand. So yeah, I actually wanted to check. Maybe we've got primer laying around and we could actually just come and give it some primer spray on those little patches that we just grinded down. We might actually have some primer. Alright, well, what do you know? So we've got 2 cans of primer that is still full in here, which is good. Let's just come over here. I think we've got about half a tin of primer in there. And this is still the paint from Seth's car. I actually forgot it was in here. Alright, so let's get that one put into there. And then we'll take this over to our body shop, as that way we can actually get the primer done today. And then that way the car is completely ready for its paint job in the next episode. Alright, so we've got our compressor here and ready. And I'm just going to adjust the nozzle to small so that we don't end up doing too much primer on this car. We'll just do this little front bit obviously where we did some grinding. Yeah, I think that should actually do the trick. We did grind this little bezel side of it there as well. Also just give it a little bit of a coat of primer there. That way we know this whole nose part or front end part of the car is sorted. Alright, that should cover all of the steel so that it doesn't rust again. Alright, that is looking pretty good. We'll just go over the hood a little bit as well. Alright, and this fender part, let's just prime that up a bit as well. And right over there, we could have probably just done the whole fender at this point. So let's just finish up primering this whole fender, and I think that should be good enough. I don't know if there's going to be any problems over here, so we're just going to give it some primer so that our paint can actually adhere to this properly. Where else did we have rust? On this rocker panel over here. Alright, let's get these doors opened. Let's just do the front one and then the rear one. Alright, we're going to give it some primer over there so it doesn't rust. Alrighty, I think that is actually pretty good, pretty decent. And now I don't know if there's any rust showing through these doors on the inside, because it looks like they sort of just missprayed this a tiny bit. So we'll just make sure we get some primer onto this as well. There we go. Alright, well, I'm quite happy with the way that looks. Alright, is it just me or does it look like there's a little bit of a ding in this door? Might be, but that's okay. We will just make sure it's nice and straight before we actually paint this thing up in its final color. Alright guys, so now with that part of the job out of the way, we are going to do a little bit of work to the Pontiac Firebird over there. And yeah, we've got quite a bit of a mess going on here, but I'm quite certain I'll be able to get this sorted out in no time. I've got more or less of an idea what is going to be reusable, what we're going to have to replace. So yeah, it's just a matter of getting everything figured out. Now I'm looking for the wrench. So where did we put the wrench? Okay, so there's the wrench. Alright, so as you can see, we've got parts in our way as well. We've got some new parts for the Firebird. So I just wanted to check if this radiator is actually going to fit the car, because this is a lightweight aluminum radiator. It's a bit of an upgrade to the one that we've currently got in the car. So I'm not sure if that one is going to fit. If it does, then we are golden. Alright, so let's get the old radiator out. So the lower hose actually started packing up since we drove the car the last time. So I've got some new hoses as well. But let's just see if this actually goes in, which it does. That is quite remarkable. Okay, so we're going to have sufficient cooling for our new 380 cubic inch engine. Alright, which we haven't unboxed yet. I think we'll do that once I've done all of the work that we currently have on the workbench over here. So we've got some new radiator hoses. Let's see if we can actually pop this. We can just leave the paint can over here. Alright, let's just pop that into the backpack. We've got some bottles of coolant and some bottles of oil. Alright, and our brand new 6-speed transmission. So this also needs to go into the car. And it's also got a brand new starter, which is actually a very good thing. Because, I don't know, the starter we've got on here. Yeah, that looks a bit tired actually. So it's a good thing we actually got some new ones. Alright, let me just empty everything out of the old backpack here. Oh, not my cell phone. Alright, so there we go. Alright, so let's just put the battery upright. Okay, so let's get the upper hose mounted over there. It's probably going to be a little bit tricky. There we go. Upper hose. Where's the lower hose? Over there. Alright, we're going to probably have to come around this side for this one. All the way down there. There we go. Alright, perfect. So now that that is sorted, let's quickly replace our battery and also the battery cables. I should have actually undone the negative first. But that's okay. I think this battery is basically dead already, so it's not really a problem. We'll just make sure we install the new one the right way. Okay, no cables on that. So there's a cable on the starter. And then we've got our ground cable back here. And the alternator cable. Right, so there's the old wires, which weren't bad actually. But I decided let's just go ahead and make sure we've got some proper cables in this car, because we're going to be installing a very powerful engine. And it might need to have sufficient cranking power. And if the cables are a bit worn, then obviously it's not going to help them much. We are going to have to replace the cross member eventually, so we'll get to that once we start doing suspension work. We are going to bolt down the alternator. Not really, we didn't really have to do this just yet, because we are going to be swapping the engine, obviously. So I don't know why I actually started bolting it up. We've got our ground cable bolted down, so that is actually good enough. Alright, so let's get our new battery in. Alright, and we're going to zip it down. Okay, that is actually pretty good. Now we've got a new battery in this car, and we know we're going to be able to fire this thing up no problem. Alright, we are going to remove the old fuel line here, because that is still good. We are going to be able to reuse that. Alright, let's go around to the other side. I want to undo the gearbox bolts here. Alright, and there should be a bolt down there. Okay, what are we still missing over here? I think it's just this engine mount on this side. Haven't gotten to that one yet. There we go. Here's the old engine again. Actually a very good running engine. But obviously, can't put it over there. That's the windows are on there. Or the glass from the Fury is on there. So we actually had these exhaust pipes laying around as well. So I decided to just pop them on. So there's the old engine. Actually a very decent engine. We'll see. One day we might need this for some other project of ours. But right now, I think let's see if we can get the gearbox out of this thing. Okay, so that's going to need probably a floor jack. Where can I put the wrench? Just there for now. Right, let's grab a floor jack quickly. Right over here. Let's take this a bit closer. Right, I just want to see if I can get to those transmission bolts and the drive shaft bolts. Because no idea what the what's going on with the drive shaft bolts and what the condition is of the drive shaft. We do have got some jack stands over here. Alright, that is probably going to help a bit. Let's just see. Okay, now I want to get the wrench again. So I want to crawl under there and see if I can actually get the gearbox unbolted. Alright, here we go. Alright, so there's two bolts like normal. Obviously the three from the drive shaft. And is that going to free up the gearbox now? Let's just see what else is holding it down. Come on, can we get the starter removed as well? Right, starter, and the gearbox seems to be a little bit stuck at this point. Okay, I'm just sort of leopard crawling under the car now. And we've got all the bolts loose. There we go. Alright, so there's the gearbox. Now let me try and crawl out from under here again. Okay, so there we go. So that is our old 4-speed gearbox. The gearbox seems to be fairly decent, But I think our new 6-speed gearbox is definitely going to be a nice upgrade for us. So let's see if we can get this thing back into there. Alright, just like that. And we'll just come over here, secure it to the cable as well. Alright, now I'm going to crawl back under here again. Alright guys, so just trust me if I tell you that the gearbox is back in place. It's a little bit hard getting under there, tightening up those bolts, but everything is as it's supposed to be and I'm quite happy with it. Alright, so let's get the old radiator out of the way. I'm actually thinking we can still use that somewhere because it's not damaged. Alright, so let's unbox this brand new engine. It came from Hugo. Alright, and there we go. Come on, last little bolt. Okay. Alright, and there it is. So apparently this is our 629 horsepower engine, which actually looks very nice. I don't know how he got the headers looking like this. It's probably yeah, some polished bits and pieces. I actually like the look of this engine. It's pretty basic, pretty stock looking, but it's got apparently some internal parts that's been upgraded quite well. So I think the only thing left for me to do is we're going to unbolt it from here. And we're just going to see if we can actually drop this into our engine bay. Alright, so there it is. And let's get the transmission bolted down. Okay, so we are still going to do the cross member a bit later on once we get this thing into the suspension shop again. Okay, let's just get all of these bolts tightened down on that. Let's go around this side. I've got a little bit of news about the brakes in this car as well. The brakes failed while I was moving it over here. So we've got some problems somewhere. I don't know exactly yet what it is, but just judging by the look of this main brake line and the actual reservoir, it actually seems like that could be the cause of it. Alright, so we've got that all bolted down. Alright, did I do the alternator bolt now? I can't remember. Oh, we have. Okay, so next up is the fuel line. Okay, so the fuel line can go back in. Yeah, it's a bit hard finding the right spot for this, but there we go. We've got it like that. Let's just move this out of the way. Alright, we'll grab our exhaust pipes once again. Alright, so there we go. That's the one. Let's just zip it down over there. Let's grab the other one here. Alright, so there it is. And just zip it down like that. Alright, I think we've got everything bolted down. Everything looks fairly decent. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to top up the coolant in our brand new radiator here. And let's just check the engine oil before we top it up. It looks like it's empty, so that is good. Alright, let's grab our oil cap. And let me sort out these fluids quickly, and then I'll bring you guys back up to speed once I try and fire this thing up again. Alright, so we've got some oil in the car. I did spill a tiny bit over there. And we've got some coolant in the radiator as well. So it's probably good enough to try and fire this thing up. I don't know how much gas we still have left in the tank, but I guess it should be enough to fire this thing up one more time. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to drive it now without any brakes, unless if I use the handbrake, but that's going to be a little bit risky. Yes, this car actually needs to go over to the suspension shop, so we're going to try and see if we can pull it around. So I think that'll be good to know. Somehow that came undone. Okay, let's just maybe tighten up the gear shifter again before we try and move this car. Now, where did I put that wrench? There it is. Okay, Yeah, so it looks like the gear stick actually came loose when I was fiddling with the transmission. But okay, now that should be sorted. And yeah, this thing actually fired up, no surprises at all. And we just need to get a proper, either an air filter or get the supercharger, as I said. Alright, let's see what she does. But I have to take it nice and easy. We still have got some very bad suspension parts on this car. You can actually see it hopping around a bit. Alright, I think we'll take it around this side. And it doesn't look like our speedometer is working. Odometer, the whole cluster seems to be busted. But that's okay, we're going to be getting a new interior for this car. Right, let's just bring it in nice and easy. I'll bring it around this side. Well, she actually moves. I didn't really want to put my foot down yet because obviously we don't have brakes. The only brakes we currently have is the handbrake, or the e-brake as they would say. Alright, well, let's get this thing reversed back onto the lift over there. And then we're gonna just do a little bit of work to the suspension first of all. Okay, let's pull it forward a bit. Open our door. There we go. Alright, handbrake up. And then we will just try and push it back a bit. Yeah, you can see the brakes are even shot. Just pushing this thing with the handbrake up. But okay, there we go. So that is where she's going to be for the next episode when I start stripping the suspension of this thing. I haven't even checked the trunk. There's absolutely nothing in the trunk. But yeah, I think we did quite a good one. Actually, that engine is quite a bit powerful compared to the one we took out of the car. I see, yeah, it looks like this has got a performance carburetor on it. So we might have to actually just see if we can just get a nice little air filter for this carburetor that can actually stick through the hole there. That's going to make it look a little bit better. But I don't know, maybe drop some comments down below, guys. Do you think we should put a supercharger on this thing? Because apparently it already makes 629 horsepower. And I don't think we really need to go crazy with horsepower ratings in a drag car like this. But I'll see. It all depends on what you guys think. But yes, I think that is where I'm going to leave this episode for today. So thank you all so much for tuning in once again. And I'll see you all in the next one.